Every innovation begins with a touch. The piano keys that echoed through halls now echo through time. Every stroke, a testament to our expressive legacy. The precision of gears and springs set the tempo for today's innovations. Their hands inspired us to transcend boundaries. What was once the domain of a few is now the canvas for all. Mastering the art of simplicity, Medit i900 invites everyone to scan with ease. For centuries, the meticulous craft of dentistry was guided by the steady hands of its practitioners. As times changed, so did our tools, evolving, adapting, innovating. Now, that innovation is a simple touch away. Our commitment to innovation continues, making the advanced accessible.
Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for an exciting session on the Medit i900 digital intraoral scanner. My name is Cassandra and I'm thrilled to guide you through this journey from mastering the basics to exploring advanced techniques with this powerful piece of equipment. Whether you're a dental assistant, a hygienist, or a dental professional new to digital scanning, or you're simply looking to enhance your techniques, this webinar is designed with you in mind. Throughout this session, we'll cover essential functions, tips to optimize your workflow, as well as some advanced capabilities that can help you enhance your patient experience, all while improving your efficiency in practice. We'll also have a live Q&A at the end, so feel free to note or chat in any questions that you have as we go along. Let's dive in and explore how the i900 can help you elevate your practice. Now, I've been in dentistry for over 18 years, and in that time, I've spoken to hundreds of doctors and trained countless offices. And one question that has come up consistently, both before a doctor makes their purchase and after, is how can I successfully implement this into my practice? And well, if you've ever worked in a dental office, it's no secret that our staff are often the ones who keep things moving. So first and foremost, I want you to engage your team members. If you operate as a team, include them in this journey. The excitement should be shared as you cultivate an encouraging and supportive atmosphere. And I've seen this done in a multitude of ways, from involving the staff in the buying decision to creating friendly scanning competitions or even offering incentives for every scanned patient during those first few months of implementation. Secondly, you want to ensure that you are providing your team with ample time to train. Not time where they're running in between patients, in and out of training, but focused time where they can concentrate and ask questions during their initial training. You may also want to implement what I like to call a 10-5 go. And this is where, if you're completely new to intraoral scanning, you can add 10 minutes to each visit that requires a scan. This allows your staff to comfortably implement that technology into their daily flow without pressure, again, creating that a supportive environment for their successful adoption. And then maybe after a week or so, you can decrease that time to a 5-minute fluff and then work yourself down even further to your regular appointment times. And I know, time is money, and sometimes this is difficult to do. But again, we're talking about long-term adoption. Investing this time up front will ultimately reward you with your confident, fast scanning staff members. And the difference between a sub to average user to a fast and efficient user is maybe about 2 to 3 minutes per patient in the long run. So we add that up and ultimately we're saving ourselves a lot of time by investing up front. Lastly, any new user in digital technology, we recommend phasing your approach. What this means is ease into those advanced cases. If you're especially a general dentist who does a lot of different workflows, maybe start with your new patient exams. Implement this with every new patient. You can use it for a chairside diagnostic tool. It'll also give your team lots of practice. Hopefully you have quite a few patients each day. Then you can ease into those single unit crowns and then broaden your scope into your multi-unit cases or your advanced surgical cases. Now, in instances where doctors have started, say, with a full mouth reconstructive case as a very first scan ever, it can oftentimes be a little bit intimidating or overwhelming. So even if you're a surgeon and you're using this for surgical cases, try to start with those single units, multi-units, and then full mouth rehabs. Just anticipate that there will be a slight learning curve, as there is with any new skill and especially any new technology. And with that in mind, have you heard about the i900? Whether you have one already or you're considering this device, let me show you why I think you'll totally love it. First and foremost, the Medit i900 is only 165 grams in weight, making it one of the lightest intraoral scanners on the market. It's lighter than your average smartphone. This device has been innovated to deliver faster preheating and making our time from pickup to scan much quicker. It also has a sleek unibody design, which limits the opportunity for contamination and reduces the disinfection time between patients. That's because it's all one sleek piece of plastic here. So where are the buttons, you ask? Well, we've added touch activation. Couldn't help myself. Okay, so what we're looking at here is our scan wand, and up at this blue ring you'll see the 360-degree touch band. That's this ridged area. You also have your touch pad here that helps us navigate, just like the trackpad on our laptop, or basically a laptop. And then right behind my head, there is a touch activated button that helps you switch between the functions of the scan wand. The i900 also has a new optical engine, which allows for better texture, truer color, improved scanning experiences when scanning metal, dentures, or face, as well as a deeper scan depth up to 30 millimeters, making it one of the deepest scan depths for intraoral scanners on the market. The i900 also has a higher data density. That means that it requires 30% less imaging, which equates to smaller file sizes, improved data quality, better output, and overall faster scan processing. And what we're looking at here is true life colors of the i900 versus a competitive product here. And the i900, that more real color versus the previous i700 model. Even our unboxing experience has been enhanced by limiting the number of boxes that you have to open in order to access your new and exciting technology. Upon opening your package, you will find your user manual. Remove that top layer, you're going to find your scan wand, and not one but two USB C-to-C cables. One is 2 meters in length and the other one is 2.5 meters in length, as well as 4 scan tips. This system does come with 2 medium-sized tips as well as 2 large tips equaling 4 in your package. You'll also find your calibration tool, a cradle, and a wall mount. Keep in mind too that pediatric tips are available for the i900, and they are 2 millimeters smaller than our previous pediatric tips. To get started with installation, simply plug in one end of your USB-C cable to your wand and then the other end into your laptop. Your wand should automatically power on and the rear LED lights will light up. Green means that you're ready to scan, and with your Medit link already downloaded and installed, you should then log into your account and register your new device. Start by creating a new case and open your Scan for Clinics. Here you'll be met with a tutorial showing you how to utilize the i900 while it walks you through some of those navigational functions such as pan and zoom, and then you can proceed to calibrate your system by selecting the icon on the lower left-hand side of your screen and then follow the prompted instructions. The Medit i900 only needs to be calibrated every 90 days, and yes, you can certainly calibrate more frequently if desired. Once you've calibrated, you're ready to scan for the very first time. Now, when we talk about the basics of intraoral scanning, there are a few fundamental points that we try to convey, and those are basic tissue retraction, ideal scan patterns, and how to build comprehensive and complete scans. When approaching your patient for scanning, you can choose to either sit or stand from an 8 o'clock position or sit or stand behind the patient in a 12 o'clock position. Now, the way that we hold the intraoral scanner will differ depending on our approach. If from the 8 o'clock position, we do recommend the pen-like grip, so it's a little bit more ergonomic and you have more dexterity. And the great thing about the i900 is that you can start or stop from any position. So notice how I like to hold with my index finger and thumb, and then rest it on my knuckle like so. And then I start or stop. My computer is celebrating. I start or stop using a double tap with my middle finger. Now, if we're from a 12 o'clock position, you may hold it more with kind of like a palm grip. Let's see if I can show you here. Like that. And then double tap with your middle finger. Or I've seen people hold it, let's see, like this. And then they kind of tap it with their thumb. So either way that's comfortable to you. This one obviously is awkward for me. I like to go from 8 o'clock and hold it like a pen. So with those two things in mind, that's how you're going to approach your patient, and try both. If you're new to intraoral scanning, again, there's no necessarily right or wrong way when it comes to how you're going to hold it, especially with the i900 and its 360-degree touch band. Now, basic scan techniques call for starting on the occlusal, wiggling from the lingual to the facial from canine to canine, and then moving to that lingual and then the buccal for a lower arch. I have also seen a basic scan technique that really makes my eye twitch. And that's this crazy one, where the user basically zigzags all over the teeth and they're like rocking side to side over that occlusal, and then they kind of just go over the buccal and then maybe the lingual if they're doing a maxillary arch. To me, it literally looks as crazy as this depiction here. And I find it completely unnecessary. I know that the intention behind this is to capture as much data as they can, and it helps to kind of get in those nooks and crannies interproximally, but it's really not necessary. And I'm going to show you why with some of our advanced techniques. And the first one being fulcrum retraction. Now what this is where we take our index finger and we retract the patient's tissue out while extending our thumb for a fulcrum. Now, as you go along and you go towards, let's say we're starting on the back lower right molar, going towards the anterior canines, we get to that canine, I'm going to pinch the lip and pull it out, and then I'm still resting the scanning wand against my knuckle, gliding my fingers along to the other side of the canines, and then extending my index finger back and gliding over my knuckle here into the posterior molar on the other side. So I believe I have a clip that I can show you to demonstrate this for you on a person, but that is the concept of fulcrum retraction. So it's just retracting with our hand and then resting that scanner somewhere along our self to help with stabilization. Doing that helps get those tissues out of the way. It eliminates a lot of the need for cotton rolls, optrogates, all of those types of things. Although they're very great for helping you retract in your day-to-day, oftentimes with digital scanning, they can often get in the way. So just using your hand is surely enough. And if you have larger hands and that's too much for your patient, you can opt to use a mouth mirror. The second thing that I would consider an advanced scanning technique is practicing parallel scan paths. And what that is following our scan patterns, which I'll review again for you in a moment, not the crazy ones you just saw. But when we are scanning parallel, let's say we are coming into the buccal. Notice here, let me get a good angle. So we're parallel to the teeth. Let's see, right here, right? Now, if I wedge out this way, I'm going to capture really great distal contact, but I'm going to miss a lot of the mesial interproximal information. When I'm parallel, I can see both the mesial and the distal at the same time. So again, I'll try and demonstrate this for you live. But some people will often wedge out a little bit this way or wedge out a little bit this way. And so I will show you how to identify whether or not you are parallel. But beyond looking at just the patient and looking at your positioning in the mouth, but you can also kind of tell it on the screen. So I'll show you where to look for that. And the last thing is strategic acquisition. And what I mean by this is basically laying down the foundation of your scan. So following our scan patterns that I'll review with you in just a moment, you want to make sure that you lay down the foundation of that scan and then go back and spot fill necessary information. And that leads us to our last point, which is proper void identification. What does that mean? That means that we're able to look at our scan and read the scan and identify what the computer can fill in and what is critical for us to go back and fill ourselves. Now, a new user, a basic introductory scanner, oftentimes they'll go and fill in every single piece of information, and they have larger files. It takes them longer to scan. But once you gain that competency and that confidence, you're able to identify what's necessary, what's not, what the computer is going to fill in for you, and if you need to go back and spot fill, how to do so very quickly. So let's review those concepts. Starting with our scan pattern for the mandibular arch, we're going to scan occlusal lingual buccal. Now, because with the i900 has the large tip, it has such a large field of view that you don't necessarily have to scan and rock from lingual to facial on canine to canine. However, there is a sweet spot, and I'll show you guys how to look for that when we get to the live scanning that will help you also eliminate that no matter what model of scanner you're using. For the maxillary arch, you're going to scan occlusal buccal lingual. And then if you desire so, you can start from the lingual of the central incisors and capture that palatal. Okay, so we're here in our scan for clinics and we're ready to get going. Now with our i900 connected, the first thing we want to do is move our focal depth up to the max at 30 millimeters so that we have all of the benefits. We're going to go ahead and start with our lower arch. I'm going to double tap my 360-degree touch band to activate my wand. Notice our full arch in the in the upper right hand corner took us about 22 seconds to lay down the structure of our scan. At this point, this is where we'll look at our scan and determine whether or not this information looks good or if we need to go back and fill in any information. I do see that I have some voids here, missing data. I also have what looks like a slight misalignment on this incisor. So with this, I can go ahead and decide to spot fill those two areas. And notice how when we go back to spot fill, we don't have to sit there and scan every single piece of information. You can simply go back and jump around to the areas that look like they need some help. Now, if we still have information like this, there is another fun feature that I would consider advanced utilization, and that is to post-process selective areas with our results preview. To do so, we're going to select that tool. We're going to go ahead and hover over the area that we want to process and click next. And this will help us determine whether or not the computer is going to fill it in. So if ever you're iffy, we can look at that and decide that, yeah, that looks good for me. going back to that preview, that helped me determine that I don't have to sit here and try to fill that in any longer, unless again this was like a critical area, especially like something like a margin for a prep. We wouldn't want to leave it to the computer for chance. That we would want to go back and acquire more accurate information. Now when we're ready to go to the next arch, we can go ahead and swipe to that maxillary. So I'm noticing a little bit of a misalignment right on that incisal edge. So I'm going to go ahead and go for my lingual and roll it over to the facial. Okay. 44 seconds, 1700 images for this arch. Again, determining whether or not these are critical areas of information. If I'm just doing a study model, maybe those areas there are quite large, so let's go back and fill them. Now, if this looks good, we can go ahead and move to our bite. Moving to the next bite. All right. Now, if for any reason you find the touch activation a little bit bothersome or just hard to get used to, there is a function within our software where you can activate the scanner to just pick up and scan, meaning when it's in its cradle and as soon as we pick it up, it's going to turn on, and as soon as we put it down, it'll turn off. So I'll show you how to activate that when we cover the troubleshooting and maintenance. From here, we'll go ahead and complete our scan and decide how we want to process this data. You can go ahead and leave those voids open, or you can choose to fill the major holes. Depending on whatever the next stage is of your process, if you're sending this into a 3D printing software, oftentimes it'll close that data for you. If you are going to just send it straight to another, say, design software, perhaps you want to fill in that information. Aside from the obvious clinical value that digital technology holds, from enhanced accuracy to reduced chair time, digital technology can also be utilized to enhance your patient communication, and this will ultimately increase your case acceptance. The absolute best way to do this is to add an intraoral scan to every new patient exam. In doing so, you can also utilize some of the advanced features of the Medit, such as HD photo and scan playback, to use as chairside diagnostic tools that you can speak to as you explain treatment plans. These images are more comprehensible to the average patient versus referencing a radiographic image. Additionally, if you find that a patient is on the fence, you can still send them a link to their scan to review through Medit's Case Talk. Here's where you can chat with the patient as they review the scans from the comfort of their own home. And lastly, two of my favorite heavy hitters for case acceptance are some of our Medit apps. One that we see oftentimes, especially in general dentistry, is smile design. This is where you can take an image of your patient smiling and apply an aesthetic visualization of what their redesigned smile would look like, as well as orthosimulation, which basically proposes the teeth movement through a sequence of stages, and it'll show the patient how their teeth will move almost week by week. And I just think it's super cool. It's a really awesome tool. Again, that just makes it more real for the patient. And those visuals get them excited, because if they couldn't dream it, now they can see it. So we'll go ahead and drop the links to each of these features for you. And I do hope that you'll take the time to explore them a little bit more and see why they made my list for this webinar. And we certainly saved the best for last, because who doesn't love talking about system maintenance? I know I do. Just kidding. So when it comes to the Medit i900, lucky for us, it is very easy to work with. To disinfect your equipment, you can use Optim wipes on all scanner models. The i900 is the only model that you can actually use Cavicide wipes on as well, due to the difference in the finish of the plastic compared to our previous models. Once that scan is complete, you can start by disinfecting the cable and then move your way up to disinfecting the body of the wand while removing that scan tip. Once you have that tip off, you're going to place the safety cap on. This will help you, make sure that you're not getting any debris inside that wand, and, that you won't have to really worry about cleaning inside of it. Next, you're going to go ahead and autoclave your tips. Those tips can be washed with soap and water. Then you can place a 2x2 over the mirror, and you're going to run those in the autoclave at 134 degrees Celsius for 4 minutes with a 20-minute drying cycle. And they are good for up to 150 cycles. And as all good things must come to an end, this brings us to the end of our webinar. Thank you everyone for your time and attention today during this session on the Medit i900 as we discuss the basics to advanced techniques. Remember, this isn't the end of the conversation. Please feel free to reach out or join our next session if you'd like to stay connected. And if you're interested in a demonstration, you can contact your local sales representative or request one from us using the link that we'll share with you here. We will stay on for about 15 minutes or so to answer any questions that you might have. So please, if you haven't done so already, chat them in and we'll be responsive to you. And we hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Okay, I'm ready for your questions. Bring them on. All right, first question. What are the laptop specs for the i900? So if you already have a Medit device, the laptop specs should remain the same. Meaning that whatever laptop you already have would be able to operate the i900, but we'll go ahead and drop the exact specifications in a link here so you can check that out. Keep in mind, this is referencing the minimum specifications needed to operate the laptop. So if you want top performance, go ahead and go above that so that you can have an even faster scanner. Okay, next question. How can I request a demo? So if you're interested in getting a demo, again, you can contact your dealer, so whoever you typically buy your tech from. We have many partners from Cadre, Voxel, Henry Schein, Hyacin, Zimvi. So talk to your local rep. If you don't know who that is and you just want to have a demonstration from us, we can also do one for you. We'll go ahead and, again, we're going to share that link with you for those demos, and then we'll put you in touch with your local rep and talk to you more about that at that time. You mentioned, oh yes, I mentioned the pickup and scan function in the Medit link, Medit scan for clinics, I'm sorry, and I didn't show it to you. So let me go ahead and show you that real quick. How to activate the pickup and scan feature is really cool. So if you're bothered with touch features, you can go ahead and change these settings in the Medit scan for clinics. So let's go ahead and switch to that real quickly. Okay, so we're going to select our settings icon within our Medit scan for clinics. Make sure we have the scanner tab selected, and then you're going to go ahead and select the button here, activate that and confirm. And now when we pick up our scanner, it's going to simply turn on, and then when we place it back down, it'll turn itself right off. And that's it. All right. Any other questions? Yes. Are you going to be at Greater New York? Yes. We're going to be there. We're going to be at booth number 417. We're so excited. I'm actually very excited. On December 2nd, we're having an event for like a scan off. So come, if you feel like you learned something new, come put it to the test, and let's have a battle and see who can scan faster. Booth number 417. We'll drop the link to our events page too for Greater New York. We are also going to be offering special on-site promotions during Greater New York. So if you are considering buying, Greater New York would be a great time to do that. And hope to see you guys there. Any other questions? Oh, my favorite question. Yes. Medit apps are 100% free. Crazy. There's no licensing fees. There's no per case fee. It's 100% free. So you can use all of our applications, the ones that we talked about with Smile Design and Ortho Simulation. If it's a Medit proprietary application, it is 100% free. Now, if you're talking about any of our integrations, if the partner that we integrate with does charge for their software, then obviously you do have to have that license. Like, for example, ExoCAD, that is a license that you would have to have, and then we can basically provide the bridge to that platform. But all of our Medit apps are free. Okay. Well, thank you guys again so much for your time and your attention. You've truly been the best part of my day, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.